Changes in the business environment. One of the many problems that a manager has to deal with is changes in the business environment. Unfortunately for a manager, the world changes all the time and managers have to deal with the consequences. At this point in time, the Indian Weather Bureau has predicted a deficient monsoon. In a country like India, farmers are still largely dependent on monsoon rains for watering their crops. What will be the effect of a deficient monsoon? Using simple logic, one would suspect that the production of agricultural goods, rice and other cereals would suffer. A lower production of rice would probably lead to a higher price of rice. Farmers whose crops have failed or decreased substantially would see their incomes reduce. A reduction of income could lead to lower spending on clothes and other household goods. It is useful to think through the consequences of a deficient monsoon using the concept of demand and supply. Let us start with the demand and supply curve for a normal monsoon. So let me draw the two axes, price and quantity, price on the vertical axis, quantity on the horizontal axis. And let me draw the demand curve as D0, the supply curve as S0. We should mention also the time and the location. So let's suppose that the time is around October this year. So just after the monsoons. Now suppose if we have a deficient monsoon, then we would expect the supply curve to shift to the left. I hope you remember how the weather affects the supply curve. So consequently, the old equilibrium, which we can mark as P0 and Q0, will no longer be an equilibrium. The supply curve has shifted from S0 to S1. So actually, the old supply curve is no longer valid. So now what you can notice is at this price P0, there is actually a shortage. Now as you remember, what will happen is that there will be an upward pressure on prices and the price will continue to rise till we now reach a new equilibrium price at P1 and a quantity Q1. So consequently, as a result of the deficient monsoon, there will be a change in the equilibrium price from P0 to P1. The prices will go up and there will be a change in the equilibrium quantity as well. From Q0 to Q1, the quantity will decrease. So let's think about the effect of a poor monsoon on the demand for clothes by farmers. Now what you would expect is that clothes are a normal good for farmers and lower incomes should reduce the demand for clothes. So let's draw this. So as usual, I have the two axes, quantity and price. And this is the market for clothes around October this year. So here is the demand curve and here is the supply curve. And with a normal monsoon, you would expect the quantity to be QE and the price to be PE. Now with a poor monsoon, what you would expect is that the demand for clothes would come down because farmers have lower incomes. The result is at the original price PE, now there is a surplus. And a surplus means that there will be a downward pressure on prices. So the new equilibrium will be at a lower price and at a lower quantity, P1 and Q1. So if you are producing clothes and you sell primarily in rural areas, you might expect the effect of a poor monsoon to be lower sales as well as lower prices. So that is something you should be concerned about.